Hey, it's Dave Wellman again, and this is the fifth and final video in our series, Hiring the Best Buyer's Agent. In this video, you're going to learn the steps you need to take to locate, interview, and hire the best buyer's agent for you. So let's get started today by looking at some questions you need to ask as you begin the interview process. But before we begin talking about the questions specifically, you need to remember that you are hiring the buyer's agent. When you first walk into a real estate office and you see the hustle and bustle and people moving back and forth, and you see all the lights and the computers and all those kinds of things, a buyer has a tendency to become a little intimidated by all the things that are going on in that office, and they forget that they are the one who is hiring the buyer's agent. So don't lose track of the fact that you're the interviewer and the buyer's agent is the one who's being interviewed. The first thing you need to find out is if they are willing and prepared to work for you. I would ask them how busy they are right now. I would ask them how much time they have to devote to your needs and meeting your needs. Understand where they are in their current business situation and try to determine whether or not they have the time to be able to do the work that you need to get done. Now let me caution you about one thing. Too often people say, I've been in the business 25 years, or I've sold this many houses in the last 12 months. And the buyer's agent does that to build themselves up in the sight of the buyer to see whether or not they will then bite on that longevity angle and choose them because they've been around for a long time. But longevity in real estate does not necessarily equal good service. Now, it doesn't mean that you're always going to get bad service from somebody who's been around for a while, but just because they've been around doesn't mean that they're the best agent for you. Don't let yourself fall into that trap. Now, you need to ask them this question: how do they intend to do their job with you? How do they work for you? How do they communicate with you? Do they communicate by phone and email only? Do they text? Do they Twitter? Do they have a Facebook page? How is it in the area of communication that you can get a hold of them, and how is it that you want them to get a hold of you? How are they going to handle any questions or concerns that you have? If something comes up and you don't understand something, how are they going to handle those questions? How are they going to take care of your concerns? How are they going to meet your needs throughout the whole process? That's a question that you need to answer. How are they going to handle showings? How are they going to handle the way that you go out and look at houses? Are they going to show 2 houses at a time, 3 at a time, 5 at a time? How are they going to prepare you for those showings? What are you going to expect from them during the showings? That's all important as you try to choose the best agent for you. And then I think the most important thing is you need to ask them how are they going to handle the negotiations once you put together an offer to purchase. If a realtor doesn't have a specific and planned out negotiation process, then you're really just throwing the negotiations to the wind and hoping for the best. So make sure you understand how they plan to negotiate on your behalf. Then you need to consider personalities. You know, you're going to be working closely with the buyer's agent that you choose for some time. Most real estate transactions take anywhere from 30 to 90 days in order to get clear, from the showings to the loan process to the closing table. It's just going to be a long time, and you want to make sure that you are working with somebody that you get along with and who gets along with you, but not just you, but also your whole family, so that you don't have any difficulties in the process. You're going to be sharing personal information with this buyer's agent. They're going to know things about you and about your finances, and you want to make sure that they're the kind of person who you want to know those kinds of things. And so make sure you consider not only their skill set, but you also consider their personality. You'll be sharing stressful moments throughout the entire home buying process, and there will always be challenges that need to be addressed. And so you have to do your best to find someone who you can both like and rely on throughout this entire process. Now, let's look at some other considerations. You need to know how your agent will cooperate with your entire home buying team. Because remember, there are other people involved in the process. There's the seller, the seller's agent, the bank or lending institution, the attorney, title companies. There are all kinds of folks that are a part of the whole team, and you need to know how well your buyer's agent will work with the entire team. If the buyer's agent is the one dragging their heels, then you're going to end up having a more stressful and more difficult time completing the transaction and getting into your new home. You also need to understand if your potential buyer's agent will offer a listening ear and follow that up with good, sound advice. You know, there's a lot of questions come up, some of which are strictly real estate type questions, and others are opinions or the types of questions that you would ask a friend in the process of buying a new home. You need to know whether your agent will listen and answer you with good sound advice. You also need to understand whether or not the potential agent will provide an initial consultation without any obligation. You are interviewing for a position that will provide and generate an income for the potential buyer's agent, and they ought to offer you that initial consultation without any pressure, without any obligation. They should be willing to sit with you for an hour in order to understand whether or not you are a good fit, you for them and they for you. And so ask that question before you make the choice as to who will be your buyer's agent. As you begin the process of hiring the best buyer's agent for you, remember this: all agents are not alike, and yours should be the best agent for you. So take time, ask questions, and consider wisely who you will choose for your buyer's agent. If you'd like more information or a no obligation consultation, call or email me today. Thanks, and have a great day.